Welcome to Decisions. We're here with Sage to speak to the key decision makers in the 100 and find out the most important choices that they have to make. We're speaking to Mady Villiers, James Vince, Benny Howell, Abtaha Maqsood, Dan Lawrence and Sam Billings.
First up, Sam Billings, Oval Invincible skipper. Sam, difficult question for you. What's the best decision you've made in the 100 so far?
I think that's the trickiest thing, is you've got to make decisions really quickly and you get feedback so immediately. I think any decision is matching up the bowlers, but one springs to mind is Sun and Orion in key situations. Anytime I seem to put him on, he gets a wicket. So I normally save him for really key moments in all the games. So it would have to be, he's a bit my joker in the pack, really. Kind of hold him for the most important times.
Probably when we were playing here, we played the opener of the 100 against Manchester, and Sophie Ecclestone was bowling at me. I was like, I'm going to use my feet. Ran at one, she fired it down the leg side, nearly got stumped. I was like, okay, I'm going to do it again. But second time I hit the ball, turned out quite well, hit a six, put us in a really good position in the game, so yeah, that's probably the best decision.
I wondered if you had a scenario where you had to pick a batter to bat for you to hit 15 off the final set in the 100, who would you choose?
In our group, probably Tim David. He's got an unbelievable amount of power at his disposal, and he's been signed around the world in all the top leagues as a person in the side that can do exactly that. We've got other players at the top of the order where you're going to get a consistent opportunity and you're looking to bat 70, 80 out of the 100 balls, and then Tim's role is to be our finisher, someone that can clear any boundaries against the best quality bowlers in the game. So Tim's kind of set up to do that on our side.
Probably, I think it would have to be Glenn Maxwell. Obviously a really exciting player, and he's a real match winner. He can hit fours and sixes at will, and he's very good in big moments of the game. So yeah, probably be him. Great
question. It's constantly evolving as well. There's so much fluidity with batting orders now, so different players have different skill sets, and there's so much data around cricket now. So it's having that flexibility as a batting order, that on some days one individual might be best suited, and on another day it might be someone else. And I think that's what we're very lucky to have at the Oval, is we've got so many good players that play very differently as well. You've got guys like Will Jacks, as you mentioned, got 100 last year, and the power he possesses from the crease using the pace is phenomenal. But someone like Jason Roy, very similar. We've seen him light up world cricket again this year. So having those two at the top of the order certainly helps. But then the guys down the order, obviously with more fielders outside, probably a bit more touch and power as well, and more of a combination between the two. So someone like Sam Curran, he's a bit of a rogue commodity where he could just light it up from ball one, and he's not going to waste balls. So I think he's a superstar, to be honest, in everything he does, and his brother's not too shabby as well. So those two guys are definitely bankers that want to be in those pressure moments.
Tell me, as a leg spinner, what's the biggest challenge you face on the field?
As a leg spinner, I feel like people try to go after you quite a lot, especially when there's an in batter. It's quite difficult to kind of just keep bowling that nice flighted ball, just because it's quite dangerous that people are just going to come out and just smash you over the top. So that's quite difficult to try and counteract that. But for me, it's just being patient, because batters do tend to make mistakes every now and then, and just be patient, and there will be a catch in the boundary, or they just miss-hit one or something like that.
Is that the kind of advice you would give to an up-and-coming leg spinner? Obviously, it's a challenge. You can be hit for boundaries a lot of the time. How do you keep your head up as a young leg spinner coming into professional cricket? Yeah,
it's a tough one. I mean, it's tough to kind of keep going after being hit for a couple sixes every now and then. But it's just being patient, really, and just hoping that the batter will make a mistake, but also just trusting yourself and your own skills. I mean, if you can turn the ball, then you're going to turn the ball away from the bat at one stage. So yeah, be patient and trust yourself.
Sage, you talk a lot about insights and using data to make the best decisions possible. How does it work from a cricket team's perspective? What kind of challenges do you face as a captain, and how do you use insights and data to prepare for a big game?
I think in franchise cricket all around the world now, I think the stats is so important, and every team is driven by what batter's got the best stats, what bowler bowls best at certain times. I know a lot of captains use a lot of data, and they'll have plans on who to bowl at certain batters throughout the game. I think because so much T20 cricket and 100 ball cricket's been played now, that you have to have plans and you have to use all the data that's provided for you. So it's a really, really important part of the game.
Some people watching this might be new to the game of cricket. I'd love to ask you where you generally put your best fielders.
It probably varies a little bit batter to batter. Some, if we identify that certain batters have got really strong areas, it might be different. It might be long on for one batter. It might be deep cover for another batter. But CJ's one of those good fielders, and he tends to get himself to long on as much as he can. Often you don't have a mid-wicket in, so you've got to have speed to cover, to save two, and then a safe pair of hands to go with that.
We've seen the importance of fielding increase year on year. Obviously, alongside Chris Jordan, you're an excellent fielder yourself. How important is that in the modern game?
It's huge, particularly in the short format where people are trying to hit the ball in the air, trying to hit sixes. You get one or two of the top batters out in the opposition through a great catch or a run out. It can really change the game. So there's a huge emphasis on fielding now.
You're defending 15 off the final set. What does your field look like?
Yeah, so for me in 100 stuff and T20 stuff, I would probably go like a deep square, cow, long on, and it would be between long off and cover. And it depends on the batter, like are they good on the back foot? If they're good on the back foot, they would most likely want to cut me through cover, or if they're good on the front foot and coming out the crease and they like to hit in that V area, then probably long off. But if I can back myself to go really full, it's really tough to get over cover. So I would probably have long off out and bring cover in and just bowl really full and straight.
What do you think makes an intelligent cricketer? We've seen the emergence of the white ball game, more and more pressure on batters to find gaps and bowlers to hit their areas. What makes an intelligent cricketer, and is being intelligent and being calm just as important as being able to hit it out the park or bowl a perfect Yorker?
Well, the majority of guys, there's some guys better than others skill-wise, but majority of guys have the skills. So for me, intelligent in cricket means not just tactically intelligent, even though that is very important. It's being able to sort of switch your sort of conscious mind off. And when I say that, I mean all your thoughts about fields and plans and what you're going to do, and then being in the zone and trying to focus on one thing, one focus, because your mind can't focus on too many things. You can only focus on one thing. So if you focus on one thing, if you're able to switch your conscious mind off and let your subconscious take over by having one thought, I think for me that makes an intelligent cricketer. I think all the best cricketers around the world who've been successful for a long time, I think they've done that way more often than not. In all sports as well. I think that's for me, that's what intelligent cricketer means.
So interesting. You mentioned there being calm, and off camera we spoke a bit about meditation. Can you tell me a bit about the importance of that in your life, and in particular the impact on your professional cricketing journey?
Well, yeah, I think meditation definitely sort of changed my life. I have a very busy mind, and sometimes, well, a lot of the time in the past I'd get overwhelmed and too many thoughts and you couldn't focus, couldn't function. Meditation was something I introduced, I read a book about morning routines, and it's called the 5 a.m. Club, and I actually did get up at 5 a.m. for a long time, and part of that routine was doing meditation, and doing it that early in the morning when your mind's fresh when you wake up. It just sort of sets you up for the day. You sort of start understanding how your mind works, how you think, and then you can be way more productive in the day. It's not just about being relaxed at that time you're meditating, it's actually about transferring the time you do that meditation into everyday life, and it's changed me. I think more people should find their own version of meditating for themselves and for the people around them.
As a batter, is there any particular shot that you go to? Let's say you're under pressure, you haven't scored off a couple of deliveries. Is there a particular shot that you go to relieve the pressure, or kind of an ideal scenario for you if the ball is pitched up? Where are you looking to hit it?
Smack it. It's. I don't want to give too many secrets away, of course, but depends on the bowlers. You've got to read the pitch. You've got to read, and I think that's what the best players do. Someone like Josh Buttler does it better than anyone. He assesses conditions so quickly, assesses who's bowling, and it depends on the bowler really. And it's about having as many options as you can to combat each different threat. So, for me, it's always been if someone's bowling quickly, actually the paddle, which we've seen it so often and frequently around the world now, using the pace, and you see guys hitting it over their own head but the keeper's head for six. yeah, it gets people off their length, it takes the Yorker out, and it makes it a lot more difficult because yeah, that's my job as a batter, to try and do that.
To win a game, you've got one shot you can go to. I think I probably know the answer to this. 4 to win, the final of the 100, what's your go-to shot?
Again, depends on who's bowling and whatever, but yeah, nice cover drive or a pull shot would do the job.
Was there anyone in your journey, let's say, you know, in cricket district we have a lot of club cricketers who follow us, who lean on the expertise of their senior players. Was there anyone who mentored you throughout your cricketing journey to help you have this kind of...
Yeah, my PE teacher actually. He's got me into cricket when I was in year 7. Played football, had no interest in cricket whatsoever. Yeah, and he put a cricket bat in my hand in year 7, played every single sport, and I quite enjoyed cricket. I loved we'd have a barbecue on a Friday night at my cricket club, and I think that was where football, I think at the time, lacked the social side of it for me, and the fact that it was played in the winter as well, really, was a real teller to me, because nothing better than a Friday night barbecue at the cricket club, I think. So yeah, he was really instrumental in my career. He kept me in the game, he pushed me to trial for Essex, and from then on it's really snowballed. So yeah, he loves a shout out as well, so he's the man.
What's his name?
Gary Sapsford.
Cool, shout out Gary.
Yeah.
Just lastly, tell me a bit about the 100 competition and the impact it's had on your career and your game.
Massive, really. I think if you look at the way that the domestic setup has followed since the 100, for the women especially, it's put a kick up the backside to a lot of executives and people like that, to just put platforms in place for women, and we've got professionals. We've got a 16-year-old now that's a professional cricketer for our club, and you'd never see that a few years ago, so it's been a real stepping stone for the women's game, put us in the playing alongside the men as well. That's crucial, and now the domestic stuff is following that, so we're playing double headers as well, so the 100's really been really important.
So there we have it. A massive thank you to Sage for making this video possible. We're so excited for the 100 to get underway, and we hope you are too.